Good morning, Surya sir, for the wonderful meditation and taking us further through this today's program. Wishing you all a very good morning. All the attendees meeting you in this new year. It's almost second week of this new year, right? Being the celebrative week, we all are in celebration mood from last 2-3 days, right? In different part of our country, we are celebrating this as a festive season in a different manner. So on this eve, on this Friday holiday morning, thank you to every one of you in joining this session. So we will try to enhance our understanding on the term mind. So that is the objective of today's topic itself, mastering the mind. So first, the question is, what is mind, right? We all have a different understanding. Even before starting the Vedatrium practices, we all might have heard in several ways, right? The explanation or the power of it and the mystic nature of it. Because the reason for all these differences is it's hidden, right? The nature of mind itself cannot be assessed or predicted or seen by all of us. Even our own mind, we can't predict how it will be behaving, right? So that is the nature of mind. And the other side, if you see the scientific world, even in the recent years, there was a research paper published by Stanford Neuroplasticity SME team, telling that the brain can rewire itself. The neurons in the brain can be rewired by itself when the belief system is changed. That is what they are confirming by doing several research. So it was in the recent year. So that is where the scientific world also standing today. It is not only for scientific world, even in the philosophy, we went through a different phases, and several philosophers and philosophies are explaining about mind in different manner, and that also again it keeps changing or getting updated based on the need and the situation of the life itself, right? So that is where we stand. So that is the reason we are not having a clear understanding on the term mind itself. So personally, I feel that even before practicing the Vedatrium, going through some philosophical books or understanding our philosophical speeches, when we hear about mind, it was not giving a clear picture, right? Some are talking about the science will tell immediately when we say mind, they're all terming that equal to brain. Science is saying mind as brain. So even the definition in scientific field, they are telling that it is a complex biological process which is happening within brain, which is due to numerous factors which cannot be assessed or predicted. This is what even the science is explaining about mind. So with all this confusion, when we start hearing about Vedatrium principles, it provides not only the clarity, we will be able to understand the power of it and why it is powerful and how that is related, how can we utilize that power. So all this clarity is provided more and more, which we can realize by practicing on regular basis of all our practices. So, as a continuation of the last speech, I think in December we talked about the topic, right? The longevity of life. We saw the importance of the physical exercises, which is the basic practice in our Vedatriya. So, as a continuation, I just thought of taking this topic to enrich our understanding on the concept mind itself. Then the second term in that topic itself, right, the mastering. So what we exactly mean by mastering? When we say the mastering, yeah, so first question we will get, why to master it? So by talking about mind, we understand broadly why mastering is required, right? So as in the introduction note, as Mr. Surya was mentioning also, we all need to master it because we know the power of mind and it's a powerful tool. So we need to master. Otherwise, we will be losing some kind of control in our progression, overall performance. So that is the reason. So at least to some extent, the why is answered to most of us, right? Mastering is required. And the next question coming to us is it possible to master the mind? Being the mystic one, being the invisible complex element, how to master it, and is it possible to master it? Is there any proper way? Is there any proper method to master, and how can we do that? Because we ourselves are having that embedded within ourselves, right? So when we say that mastering, who will do the mastering, and how can we do the mastering when we don't know what it is and when we can't predict its nature, right? So that is why it is very another complex question also. Is it possible to master, and how to master it? So with all these questions and confusions, let us think some more about this topic. Let's go into that. Yeah, there is one more interesting acronym which was given to mind. There's one strong philosophical theme concluding the mind as magnifies problem, imagines pleasures, neglects opportunities, and denies reality. So these are the acronym phrases which are meaning exactly mind. When you say that, even though it's appearing like simple phrases, this is giving a clear inner meaning and complete nature of the mind. The nature of mind itself is explained by the first two acronyms, right? Magnifies problems. So even a small problem will be magnified by the mind. That is what its nature. And imagines pleasures. So always everyone wanted to be happy, right? So the pleasure is kept imagined by the mind so that we will be able to always try to attain or try to get that pleasure satisfied. So that is the reason it keeps imagining the pleasures. Then the neglects opportunities, even though the very good opportunities which are coming in front of us will be neglected because of the nature of mind. Again, so that is a incapability of the mind. So that is what the second two phrases are talking about. Denies the reality. So the reality is not understood always when we are imagining pleasure, and the result is different. So we are not understanding the reality and we are denying the reality, so that we will go on further confusion and further complicating the life itself. So the simple acronym of MIND itself is giving a clear understanding or to some extent, yeah, clarity about the mind, right? With that, we will further analyze in today's topic. Before we go to the possible or how part, let's think about why it is to be done, like mastering. When we are talking about mind mastering, why it is essential? Because in today's life, everyone is having a very high level of negative situations, right? In related to with our stress, mental stress, and the confusion, imbalance, and the poor relationship mainly it's causing a lot of innumerable issues within the family or in the society or even in the professional side. Most of us is in that situation only, right? The negative factors are affecting the overall productivity of human beings in a large extent. So that is the reason we are in a situation to have this to be done. So everyone has to be improving this capability of the mind mastering. So everyone has to master their mind so that the overall performance or overall improvement can be seen in the day-to-day life. So that is where we stand, and that is the need of the day, need of the time, we can say. So that is where we all stand. So that is the reason we need to have some kind of methodology to be followed to master all our minds. So that is where we are standing. So we will keep that as a base understanding or base requirement for all of us, and then we will think about how and the possibilities, those options. Okay. Again, when we talk about the human being itself, so we talked in different topics earlier also, right? The human being is having a lot of uniqueness and specialities among all species in this universe. So whatever evolved so far was transforming and upgrading to step by step, and then we reached to a highest level of species, which is the human being. So why it is special? At least we broadly know that only a human being can analyze the things and change the things also. Whatever we wanted to produce that desired result, we can plan and do some kind of activity that will produce the desired results what we need. So that kind of capability, like analytical and execution and implementation skill, is available only for human being because of the sixth sense, which is the unique capability among all species. So having all this capability, we have some kind of limitation also. So we couldn't be successful in all walks of our life, in all situations, in all interactions. Yeah, we can keep listing out, right? There are some incapabilities, even though the human being is a powerful species. So if you think a little bit why that limitation is there, we can relate it to the mind also, because being the important element within us, even though the physical body is the basic frame or basic vehicle which is supporting us to enjoy the life's journey, the hidden object, which is mind, is also playing as an important element in having the success and utilizing the capabilities of the sixth sense also. So we need to know some kind of relationship between those processes also from mind point of view. So that also we will think a bit in today's discussion. And analyzing all the practices, as I was telling earlier, right? So when we are taking different kind of practices which are available today for us to practice, so we have many kind of neurolingual programs from science side also. by developing some kind of understanding of different capabilities like cognitive capabilities and analytical power and concentration improvement. All these are given with some kind of scientific proven research based practices are developed and which is available also based on the need of every individual, right? That is being applied today broadly on the need basis. Like medical field is having a different treatment methodology which is providing these kind of practices to some individuals who are in need of some kind of capability improvement. But if you are generically talking about improving the understanding on mind and improving its capability and how to utilize the fullest potential of it, again, there are some spiritual practices available. Again, different systems, different philosophies are providing options, multiple options to all of us. And among all those practices, by seeing our own life examples who are living around us and who are having the transformation and hearing from many of the practitioners, we can broadly conclude that compared to other practices, we have more benefit on the utilization of mind by following the Vedatriyan practices. Why it is so? The base element taken for all our practices itself is considered as mind. Our Guru has considered the mind as a basis. That is a base field for bringing all this improvement, all this enhancement in human potential. So when we are talking about the excellence from every individual has to be enhanced, and the everlasting peace or everlasting happiness is to be achieved by everyone. For that, the mind is the basic field we all need to work on. So that is the reason he has taken that as a basis for all the practices. So in Tamil, our practices are generally called as termed as mana valakkalai. Manam is meaning mind. So enriching the mind, art of enriching the mind. So that is what he named the whole practices as. So that itself is giving a clear confidence to all of us. By practicing Vedatriyam, we will be able to get the art of enhancing our mind so that we will be able to utilize the fullest potential of it. So that confidence is not only verbally pronounced in the practices, we can enjoy and realize that as a true thing in our own life when we are sincerely practicing all those in a desired manner and the way how it has to be. So we all can see the transformation in a very simple manner in all our life. So that is also giving more confidence to us. So for understanding this further, we need to have more explanation or clarity on the mind itself. So here I thought of giving some more information about the explanation about mind. Okay, what are all the concepts explained in our Vedatriyam? Just I thought of adding my own personal perspective to have our understanding improved about mind. So generally when you call, again I was quoting earlier, right, the science is terming mind as a complex biological process which is happening within the brain due to different factors which cannot be predicted or controlled. This is what science is telling. But if you come to our philosophical side, most of the philosophies are explaining that mind is an instrument or tool. It's a powerful tool which is not the master, because if you follow it totally, it cannot take you to the higher heights. if you are not having the proper base of it, right? So that is why we need to master it, and we need to provide some kind of input to it to utilize that instrument as a powerful instrument. And generally, when we say mind, it is talked, majority of the philosophies are telling that it's a continuous flow of thoughts. So mainly it is related to the thoughts. That is what most of the philosophies are quoting about. And it is, since it is like thoughts, we all know that it is a wave, right? So that is the reason the waving mind we used to call, wavering mind, wandering mind, all these terminologies are telling that the mind is like a wave. So when we say that as a wave, it has a frequency. So there are different level of frequencies. So the mind itself is functioning in different kind of frequencies. That is the reason the mind is wandering around. So in lower frequency it may behave in a different manner, in higher frequencies it may behave in a different manner. But again, coming back to Vedatrium practices and the explanations given by our guru, so I just feel in my point of view, the mind is not a single organ or single component in our body, right? It is like a entire it is a group of organs or group of elements which are functioning as a single domain. So if you are trying to analyze it more to understand, we have all five senses within our body, right? So different organs are responsible for those five senses, and all those five senses are sensual organs are continuously performing to get the information from the external world. So when they get some kind of information, they got a capability. Every sensual organ has its own capability to collect the information based on its own nature. So once it receives that information, it will be passing that as a signal to the brain, and brain will be using some kind of pre-recorded information. So is this information which is received now is earlier, can it be compared with earlier recorded thing? So that is what the brain is quickly doing and telling that compared to the earlier one, and it is giving some comparative information and relativity with the earlier available information. So by that we will be able to conclude what kind of information we received, and that is creating some kind of experience within us. So it is working like a system. So every sensual organ, if you take one particular organ for detailed elaboration, if you are talking about the ears which are hearing the information, even though if the other sensual organs are not in functioning state, only through ears, even from far away, some small sound wave which is generated can be sensed by the organ ears, right? So we will be able to differentiate. Once that sound wave is received by the ears, it will send to the brain, and by comparing with the available information of previous recorded experiences within ourselves, so the brain will come to a conclusion. Is it a very pleasant music, or a wild noise of some animal? So that way it is giving some differentiated or related information, so that we will be able to come to a conclusion. This is what we are hearing. So this is what happening with every sensual organ also. So all five sensual organs and the brain, so these are the essential parts of the system mind. And in addition to that, our Vedatrium philosophy is adding one more component to it, which is the genetic center. So we all have genetic center within our physical body. It is having the imprints, whatever the experiences going through by all of our lifetime, not only from our lifetime, even from our parents and all our ancestors, and going back up to the original total consciousness. From that point of view, all the experiences are embedded within us in our genetic center as imprints with different fractions according to our own nature and our own situation and our own part of our journey, right? Because our parents' nature, our forefathers' nature could be a little bit different from others. So gradually the life transformation is making a differences with the different people. So based on that difference, different kind of imprints is embedded within our genetic center. But there is one basic commonality or uniformity within all this human being is not only human being, right? The entire, whatever the living or non-living things in this universe is all connected with the total consciousness. So there is a part of total consciousness is available with all these living and non-living things in this universe. So that is applicable for our own human being also. So when we say mind, so far we talked about 5 elements, brain, and then genetic center. So in between these all relationship and how the skills of individual sensual organ is functioning. To understand that, again, our guru is giving more explanation about the biomagnetism. Right? The biomagnetism is the basic energy which is utilized by every sensual organ. So because of its own skill, when the biomagnetism is spent by that organ, it is having a capability of collecting the information based on its nature. So that is the way each organ is working also. So again, the biomagnetism is coming in, and we need to know how that is produced and all the explanation given by him also. So to have a high level of understanding about biomagnetism, we all know that we have the life force particles which is within our whole body, and that is like a millions of million particles are available. Those are continuously revolving due to the cosmic exposure or the universal nature where we are living, right? So according to that, every particle is continuously revolving. Because of that revolving motion, there is one shadow energy produced within our body that is called as biomagnetism. That biomagnetic energy is utilized by sensual organs. So that is what working as a field for the mind to function. So that is the way we need to understand the mind. So that is the reason we couldn't have one line clarity or one line definition for the mind. So we need clear understanding, not only understanding on the concept, we need to visualize it by going through different practices which we learned in Vedatrium also. So whoever is doing the practices will be able to realize whatever we discuss so far now, right? So those who are new to the practices, they will be able to realize that when we start practicing it. So that is the way we are understanding the mind. So that is the reason it is being complex. And now when we talk about frequencies again, so when we talk about earlier we are telling about the limitations and capabilities, right? So why the limitation is coming for the mind, even though all this power is available within us, we are having limitation because of that frequency itself. When the mind is functioning in a higher level of frequency, different sensual organs are always utilizing the biomagnetism and always seeking information and always using the brain and genetic center to relate with the collected information. So this will be on the high level of frequency. So when you do that, different level of information continuously coming to you, so any system will get flooded, right? So that is the reason that limitation is coming to the mind. So when it is functioning on higher frequency, higher level of frequency, you will not be able to get a better performance or better product out of it, any system. So that is applicable for the mind also. So that is where we need to work on the frequency. So when we say that the waves have got different frequencies, and those frequencies have to be lowered. Again, let's see how and what help we can take from Vedatrium to lower it. Before going to that practice part, just thought of giving some more information about the mind itself. So the system, the whole system, what we understand, it is very complex now also, right? Because even having multiple organs, multiple factors and multiple processes involved in this whole domain, that is the reason it is termed as a powerful tool, and we have to be careful also because it can give both positive or negative results by the way how we are handling it. So that is the reason we all need to have not only clarity on that understanding, we need to regulate our a kind of control is to be adopted on this functioning also because it is very powerful. And again, coming back to that frequency which we touched some time back, right? So mostly when we say the biomagnetism is spent on 5 sensual organs, it is going through some kind of information collection and based on the nature of sensual organ itself. So what is thought? When we say the thought, our guru is explaining that the biomagnetism, when it is spent through brain, which is a physical organ, so that is called as thought. So thought is produced from the brain when biomagnetism is passing through the brain. So any kind of information coming from 5 sensual organs is processed in the brain itself, right? So that is also producing a thought. So again, it will be connecting to a genetic center. That genetic center information also will be referred, and that is the way. It is like a two-way process from brain to genetic center. Imprints will be recorded also. The experience will be recorded for the later reference, and also it will be collecting some kind of referential information from genetic center also. So that two-way process is happening. So whenever brain is utilizing biomagnetism, that is what we are calling that as thought. So when we say the frequency of the mind has to be worked on, so basically we need to touch the part of thought. So the thoughts only, the number of thoughts which is produced based on the number of thoughts, the frequency of the whole mind system also will be changing. So that is the reason we are just touching the theme part of thought. So again, when we talk about the controlling of thought or how to regulate the thought process, how to modify or how to bring some changes on the thought processes, again, several philosophies and information are available. But just to summarize the Vedatrium inputs, it all depends on the listed factors here, right? So based on needs or habits or circumstances or others influence and other two, these are all at least it is in our control, but other two which are heredity and divinity, which is like a previous set of information probably. Yeah, just to explain, just to understand this, what it means is for every element listed here. So needs, what we mean by that, so based on the need there could be some thought arising in our mind. So what is exactly happening when we feel cold in a room? We will automatically look for some kind of action, right? So either if AC is on, we will switch it off, or if the window is open, we will try to close, or if some protective clothing is available, we will try to wear it to stop that kind of effect to our body, right? So that is what the need based thought will make us to do. So again, due to our habits, some thoughts can occur also, due to the circumstances, due to others' influence, some other this can be visualized easily by most of us, right? Whenever we are going to a particular team meeting, we will be having some kind of thought within us. So that is happening because of others' influence, because every time when we interact with them, that is what our experience is. So based on that, whenever we are going to start that interaction, we will be having that kind of thought which is already produced by our mind. Again, when we talk about the heredity divinity, as I said earlier, the genetic center is holding all kind of imprints from previous our ancestors. So those kind of habits from them, or some kind of thoughts or unfulfilled wishes could be embedded in our imprint, that also will be evolving as a thought for us. So these are the main reasons, root causes for thoughts arising in our mind. That is what we need to understand when we are talking about thought changing process. Again, why thought is important? As I was telling earlier, the thought only can trigger an action from us. When we compare to that example of feeling cold, right? Whenever that feeling is started, it is producing some kind of push within us to make some action, and then we are getting some kind of result out of it also. So again, that is becoming a habit. When you do this on repeated manner, so thought is producing an action, action is producing a habit. So that will become a habit for us. So that will be like a cycle. Even though broadly it is classified and shown as thought, action, habit, our guru is explaining it further, expanding it further by showing the two more processes, like action produces result, result produces the imprint. That imprint is recorded within us, and again whenever we come to the similar situation or similar need, we will be using that experience which was gained previously. That will be triggering an action based on the information recorded within us. So that is the cycle which is available. That cycle will produce a habit. So when you are having a standard methodology of functioning, so the mind will be trapped in this cycle. So that is the reason we are having another kind of limitation also. So once you follow that cycle, you will not be having any kind of improvement, even though you know that it should not be done. Due to that habit, the mind will be trapped in that cycle and it will continue performing within that cycle. So that also we need to understand, which is the limitation of the mind caused by this cycle, and we need to put some kind of strength and utilize the practices to move out of that cycle. That also we will see how to do that. And again, the habit, what habit can do, the repeated habit or the prolonged habit which is embedded with us, it becomes like a character for us, and that character decides destiny. So we are all telling that it is destiny and we can't change, right? It is not true, because the destiny is related to our own thought. So when we change and when we rework on that thought side, so we can try to gradually break that cycle and come out of it, and we can change our habit, we can change the character, we can change the destiny itself. So that is the way the transformation is happening within our life, and big achievements are being achieved by any simple personalities also. So it is possible by every one of us, but only thing, we need to work by proper understanding on this. Again, another part before going to some kind of practices support, we need to know what will happen on the negative side of it. Okay, it is functioning with a high level of frequency always, and the biomagnetism is spent all through the five sensual organ on continuous manner. So it is the nature of the organs itself, right? So it is a natural process. So why to change? And if you are not changing, what will happen? So any system has a limitation, and you cannot keep producing biomagnetism beyond your own capability, right? So that is the reason we need to conserve, or we need to utilize the biomagnetism, the energy produced within us in a proper manner also. When it is not done, so these are the negative situations we may end up with. So all the negative emotions or negative thoughts will be starting within us because of that incapability, because we are utilizing it beyond its capability of every organ itself, right? So even the sensual pleasure will be due to the repeated or due to the prolonged continuous spending, it will become like a pain, and it will produce a negative result, negative thought, negative emotions. Because of that, we will be physically getting affected also. The negative emotions will be ending up with fear, anger, jealousy. So all this will be limiting our physical capabilities also. So the entire mind system functioning will be affected if it is not properly maintained. So that is the reason we need to have some kind of control. At the same time, when we say control, can we control? So what is the better way of doing it? Anything if you control, that itself will create another problem also, right? So that is same thing happening to the mind also. If you try to control it, it is a kind of suppression. So that is what the scientific world is also telling. It should not be, anything should not be suppressed, because anything suppressed, that will be a momentary effect, and it may trigger back in different manner with more negative energy also. So that is the reason. So the control is not the thing to be adopted on mind. So our guru also nicely explaining about, when he is telling about how to handle the mind, he used to say that, right, in Tamil it's called as like manadai ariya ninaital adangum and adakka ninaital alayam. This is what he is telling, that when you are handling the mind, you have to be very careful. If you try to control it, it will wander more and more. And if you try to understand it, it will be gradually regulated, or it will be gradually controlled. That is what he is telling, the nature of mind. So the same thing is applicable and realized in our practices also when we do that. So that is the reason, instead of control, we need to think about the regulation. That is what we all need to do. And how to do the regulation, which means that awareness. So we have to increase the awareness of mind. So as we talked, the complete domain, how it is functioning, and how those all are interrelated, and how each component or each organ or each process is contributing the overall process productivity. Based on that awareness, we need to increase our awareness so that we will be able to bring some kind of improvement on the overall functioning also. So that is the reason the awareness is a basic part. So the awareness is not by just reading or hearing the information, right? Awareness can be enhanced within us by doing the practices only. So that also we can realize by doing the regular practice. So again, going back to the topic, what we thought, we said that the mind has to be regulated. So when we say that the regulation will start by reducing the frequency, then we talked about the thought element, which is the main factor which is adding to the frequency part of mind. So that is the reason we started talking about thought controlling or thought regulation also, right? So when we increase the awareness on the whole the mind, so we will be able to gradually move ahead to the end result. So how to start the journey? So we have to start witnessing our thoughts and how it is produced, and start analyzing it. Why is it coming in that? What could be the root cause of it? Earlier we have seen the list of reasons, right? How the thought is arising within us. So we can relate to that each root cause and decide which is required and which is not required, which is good to keep, which is good to continue and enhance it further to take it to the action part, or some have to be removed which is not required, which may produce the negative result also based on our capability. So this kind of process is required as the first step of awareness part about mind. So that is the reason the analysis of thoughts topic is kept as a first introspection topic also for us, so that we will be able to increase the awareness of the mind part. Again, next, when we talk about the frequency reduction, we have one more term, that is about willpower. So the willpower, there is some kind of a push required to come out of that regular cycle, right? Thought, action, habit, which we have seen, or we are talking about the bigger cycle, like up to the imprint and imprint to thought. So that full cycle, if you want to come out of it, you need some kind of additional energy. So that additional energy can be given by willpower, and it also reduces the frequency of the thought itself. So the mind frequency in overall will come down when you have more willpower, so that you will be able to analyze and you will get more time to make a better decision. So that is the way the willpower is helping to strengthen the mind. So again, that mind body relationship is also improving because of that willpower increase. So here I just thought of quoting a real life example story of one of the colleague who got retired and left from here a few years back. So when he was with regular routines after going back, and all of a sudden he went for a medical test, and he was told by the doctor he was diagnosed with a blood cancer. So as soon as he heard this information, he got stuck with the shock of the severity of the information, and within 2 weeks he was like a paralyzed person. He couldn't move at all. He was bedridden, and from an active stage of life, within the 2 weeks he became not even like a paralyzed person, right? Or even for regular routines, he couldn't move out of bed. That is the state he reached within 2 weeks of time. So all his family members worried about and forced him and took him for further checks, and then after further analysis, they have found that it is not true. Then with that, they went back with some known resources. They went back to the old hospital who said that. So after analyzing all this, they felt that there is some mistake happened with some sample mixing up. So the wrong report came to him and wrong information was given to him. So as soon as that information was given to him that these all are not true and this is by mistake it happened, so the total transformation came back. He became very active, and he came out of that shock that made a big change in his physical motion. So even though it is a hard time and very difficult situation story, the lesson from that is the mind-body relationship. That is what we need to understand. So strength of the mind is directly related to our performance of our physical body also. So how strong you are, once a mind is made up, you will be able to achieve anything through your physical body also. So for any kind of physical body performance, the mind has to be the basis. So that is why the mind is taken as a basis for all our practices. And even from exercises, we need to utilize the mind when we do some kind of physical exercises also. So that only can produce result. So that is what we need to understand from the term when we say mind-body relationship. So it is not only the mind theme. So the mind-body relationship is also will get improved by improved willpower. So ultimately it is giving the total harmony within us. Okay, then again, just touching about the willpower. When we want to increase the willpower, we need some kind of practices. So that is the reason the meditation is required. We all know that meditation is a mental improvement exercise. So when you do the meditation, you are getting the frequency reduced and willpower will be increased. So that is also helping in overall the improvement of the mind. So that is the reason we are calling that the mind is getting recharged when we do regular meditation. So basically it is reducing the frequency and increasing the willpower. So this additional strength will help us to bring all those improvement. And again, so not only meditation will be enough, because that increased willpower can give some kind of negative results also. What could be the negative result? If your imprint, for some reason, some kind of negative imprint is staying in your genetic center, when that is coming to action through your thought, so you need to utilize some kind of additional process. So that is the reason, if meditation, the increased willpower may support you to execute some kind of negative imprint also. So to avoid that, the introspection practices are embedded in our Vedatriyam system. So that introspection will provide some kind of clarity and moral strength. So that will produce an inner discipline within us. So we will be having continuous transformation by gradual refinement and enhancement. So every thought, every negative emotions have to be analyzed, and we cannot get someone else to do that. So we need to do ourselves on our own processes. So for that we are using the mind. So the same increased willpower will be utilized for doing these processes and make some decisions also. So then only we can add that strength by doing the meditation. So that is the reason every practice in our system is important, and we need to understand the relationship between each of them, so that to bring overall result of all those practices also. So again, by doing the meditation and introspection, our journey should reach towards that virtuous way of living. So when we say virtuous way of living, the morality is the basis for everything. So the positive qualities have to be increased. The truth, when we say, it is not only with self level, so it is from the absolute truth. How that truth is embedded with all others also. So by understanding the truth, we will be able to understand the law of nature, and the results when it is on negative, whatever the efforts we are putting and we are seeing the negative results, we will understand the reality. So that truth will guide us also. So when we go to that virtuous way of living, we will be able to transform gradually to the final goal in our life also. So overall, in today's discussion, we talked about the entire theme about mind and what are all related to it, and how each practice is helping in each process change, and how to utilize that to achieve overall transformation. So by doing that all and bringing some enhancement in our whole processing of our mind, we will be able to achieve the total harmony within us. When we say mind, body, soul, that all three will be in harmony, not only within us, even with external personalities and external things or objects which we are handling, we will be able to achieve harmony. So that is what we are terming that as total harmony. And then that will produce overall efficiency improvement right from the physical work, whatever we do, from our personal or official or professional or to as a social service, whatever we do, that efficiency will be better and it will be improved further and further. And the individual peace will be achieved because of the total harmony. So that will be expanded to the social peace also, which is one of the base aim of our Vedatriyam practices also. So basically that is starting from the self-discipline, and gradually we are doing to the self-realization part, and that will be expanding to the transformation further also. So again, that is what the ultimate goal, not only from personal level, even if you are seeing the Vedatrium practice as objective also, every human being should attain to this goal, the final goal, by doing the practices. So the permanent peace or everlasting happiness can be enjoyed all in our lifetime, and the balanced life will be enjoyed, and the balanced lifestyle and balanced emotional state will be maintained all through the situations, whether it is pleasure or pain or negative or positive. In all situations we will be having a balanced approach, and the mastering of the mind will be easily achieved by following all these practices. So when we say master the mind, it is not only the mind, the entire life of ourselves is being mastered. So that is what the ultimate goal for every one of us, and the Vedatrium practices also aiming for it to help us to achieve this final goal. Yeah, thank you for listening. So by this discussion, definitely I believe we will be having some kind of enhancement on the understanding of the theme mind, and it took a little longer time, I believe, because of the nature of the topic itself, and I hope really it will help to improve our understanding, which will be helping us to improve further. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you all.